Alright, welcome back everybody to another episode of Sentinels of the Multiverse. Now, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing this episode, but I felt like playing because, well, it's just a really awesome game. I highly recommend it. So you probably already hear the music. Let's go ahead and go to the game. Alright. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, is the how to play stream, because that's something I haven't done yet for this game, whereas I have done it for all the other games I've played on stream. So this will be, how do you play the game? And I'll do non-shiny. I don't know why that picture isn't changing here. Let's try. There we go. Cool. Non-shiny characters. Just so everybody, well, just so nobody gets confused about who's who. Now, when you actually get the base game just for the first time, you will only have a subset of these heroes, like everything up to Wraith. So all of these heroes, and then these three as well, you will have access to. You probably won't have access to these variants. You have to unlock those by doing various things, which you can go look up. Otherwise, I'll leave it as an exercise for the viewer to figure out how to get those. I'm not going to play with any variants for this one. I'm not going to play with the shiny collectors ones either, although they look awesome. Here, let's just look at this. Ooh, look at that shininess. I like it. In terms of villains you start the game with, it's Baron Blade and then these three here. Those are the base game villains. Environments, you get these four on the left. And I think we're going to go to Dino Land, because I think that's the first environment I ever played in, with any amount of seriousness. The actual first environment I played in was Pike Industrial Complex, and that was an interesting first game that somebody brought in their... Yeah, Sentinels! Welcome to the channel! Somebody brought in their game to Loading Ready RunCon, Lurcon, if you will, and that's the first time I ever played with the paper game. So, we're gonna go ahead and start this, and this is my walking through to how to actually play, which means I'll probably lose some of these viewers, but really my goal is to get at least one explanation stream per game that I play on the channel. So this is what's happening now. And if you like the game, I highly recommend getting the digital version. It's on Steam. If you like it a lot, I also highly recommend getting the physical copy. Also very fun, and then you can bring it around to your friend's place and get that going. So it's kind of hard to explain what happened on the villain's turn until it's past the villain's turn, because it keeps the action moving along. But let's find out what's going on. So Baron Blade starts on this side. That's what this first line means. He just starts face up, and one mobile defense platform from his deck is put into play. So that all happened. While the defense platform is up, he is immune to damage. The defense platform itself has 10 health. We have to try and take that out before we can hurt Baron Blade himself. At the start of the villain turn, if there are 15 or more cards in the villain trash, Baron Blade's Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam activates, pulling the moon into the earth. Game over. I should mention now, for those of you who don't want to watch a tutorial video, but want to watch actual content, I do have a couple of videos saved for this game already. You can go back and watch those streams at your leisure. There were a couple of really, really good games, including the game where I got the achievement for having one hero left standing at 1 HP. Did that on stream. It's a very, very fun game to play. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. So, back to what I was explaining. So, each turn can be split into a number of phases. For the villains and for the environment, those phases are start of turn, play a card, end of turn. So anything that happens at the start of turn will trigger. Then they will play the top card of their deck, which you can actually see, but it's not in actual order. It's important to note. Yeah, just play a random card from there, and then they will do any end-of-turn stuff, such as what this guy does. So I will get to the Blade Battalion in a moment. At the start of the turn, if there are 15 more cards in the villain trash, it's just game over. It's an alternate win condition. They don't have very many of those, but Baron Blade does happen to have one. It's just really hard to get to that point. He's got a couple of cards that'll make it easier for him, but for the most part, he's not going to get 15 cards in his trash before you end up flipping him. Speaking of that, when he would be destroyed, when he goes to 0 HP or less, his villain character card flips to the Vengeful Mad Scientist side instead. There are also a couple of other ways to destroy a target, in addition to bringing it to 0 HP or less. And so, when you take him to 0, or when you destroy him, he flips to this side, and then he no longer has that condition. And when he flips, I will explain what he does on that side as well. We've already gone through the defense platform. Blade Battalion has 5 HP. It's another target. Anything with HP is a target. And at the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP X melee damage, where X equals the current HP of this card. So that's why Legacy, who had 32 health, took 5 damage. So really, for these guys, they hit hard at first, but if you hit them back, they get weaker over time. And that was the end of turn that we saw. So now it's Legacy's turn. Heroes have a slightly different turn order. They do start of turn, play a card, use a power, draw a card, and then finally end of turn. So Legacy had no start of turn actions, so he's into his play a card phase. I'm not going to go over what every single individual card does. I'll just explain the cards I am playing and why I am playing them. So dealing 1 target 3 melee damage seems like a pretty good idea to me. Drawing a card also seems like a good idea. Card advantage is always appreciated, so I'm gonna play this one over the other 3. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this guy so that he hits back weaker. Makes sense to me. So I drew my card off of the effect. Now it's my use a power phase. Every single hero has an innate power. That's the power on their character card itself. So for Legacy, it's until the start of my next turn, increase damage dealt by hero targets by 1. Hero targets being any hero card that has health. That's the only power I have in play. Sometimes you will get other powers that let you do other things, such as that. So let's go back and look at that. That's interesting. Motivational charge. So when it's in play, you gain this as a power you can use. Most people can only do 1 power per turn. Sometimes you are able to do multiple powers per turn, depending on the cards you have in play. The cards will tell you when that's a thing. When you can do multiple powers, you can't do the same instance of the same power more than once per turn. What I mean by that is, if I had multiple of this card in play, this is a poor example, and I'll tell you why in a moment. If I had multiple of this card in play, I could use this power on this one, and then on the duplicate of this one, if I had access to 2 powers. I cannot, however, use this power on this card twice in the same turn. That's not actually allowed. The reason this card specifically is a bad example is there's also keywords on every single card. So the reason this stays in play is because it's ongoing. For anybody who's ever played Magic, it's like an enchantment, basically. So this is an ongoing card. It's also limited. You can only have one copy of this particular card in play because it's limited. That's what the keyword means. I could have other types of limited cards, like I could play this as well as the other one, but I can only have one of this card in play at any one time. Now we have Raw. So the card that Legacy used was a one-shot, just like all of these cards are one-shots. And that's, again, just like you play it and then it goes to your discard pile after it does some effect. That's all. For Raw, I'm going to go ahead and summon the Staff of Raw, which searches my deck for a copy of Staff of Raw, and then I get to draw a card, which was this Drawn to the Flame, and then I get to play a card. So this card lets me play an additional card by itself. It's like a mega cantrip. Then we have... I played the Staff of Ra, which I went and fetched. Normally, when it enters play, you gain 3 HP. I was full, so that didn't matter. But now, my damage is increased by 1. And as a power, I could deal one target 3 projectile damage, and then destroy this card. And the reason destroy this card is second, is you do actually benefit from this +1 damage. So I'd get 4 damage for that attack, and then destroy. You'll see this card is also limited. It is a relic, which isn't terribly important for this, for the base game. So don't worry about the relic part. Equipment is just like an artifact. So now I have use a power, and both of these are highlighted, but I don't want to destroy my Staff of Ra. Instead, I'm going to use my innate power and deal 4 damage to this mobile defense platform. The reason I'm dealing 4, again, Legacy is pumping everybody by +1. The Staff of Ra is pumping Ra by +1. So I'm going to go ahead and deal 4 to that, and then do my draw card, and then end my turn, and it goes to Tempest. Tempest does not have very good cards. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to play these Gene-Bound Shackles. It increases the damage dealt by Tempest to the villain target with the highest HP by 2. Unfortunately, Baron Blade has the highest HP, and so that bonus damage does nothing because he is currently immune to damage from the mobile defense platform. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and deal 1 projectile damage increased by 1, so 2 projectile damage to each target. That is Tempest's innate power. In this case, it only hurt the 2 the 2 targets that were not immune to damage. Pterodactyl Thief. At the start of the environment turn, destroy all... Okay, I'll read that when it gets back to Legacy's turn. It wasn't important that turn. Ooh, this is going to hurt. So, the end of the villain turn, we are at the end of the villain turn now. This card deals each hero target 2 projectile damage, and increase that by 1 for each mobile defense platform in play. It's dealing 3 to everybody. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to let the machine do its work. Again, this is a target I can kill by just dealing damage to it. We also have this Pterodactyl Thief, who has 5 health, also a target. At the start of the environment turn, so we have a start of turn trigger, destroy all equipment cards. So this is an area where keyword really matters. Put cards destroyed this way beneath this card. Then this card deals each hero target X sonic damage, where X equals the number of cards beneath this card. So that could add up if I play a lot of equipment. When this card is destroyed, return cards beneath this card to the player's hands. So we get them back to hand when we kill the Pterodactyl Thief. We don't have to worry about that part. For Legacy, this is a strong card. The problem is I want to be able to buff the rest of the team. So instead I'm going to play Danger Sense, which makes Legacy immune to damage from environment cards. It's not super important right now. My goal is actually to kill this Pterodactyl Thief before it can do anything. But there are other dangerous environment cards, and having a character just be immune to that damage is going to be very powerful. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal 5 to the powered remote turret. And the reason I'm doing 5 to this is I will end up dealing 3 fire damage to the other 2 targets. And then Tempest will hit every target as well. So this is the optimal way to split up my damage so I hurt everything as much as possible, and actually I'll end up destroying everything except Baron Blade himself this round. That seems pretty good to me. Because everything will die when Tempest attacks, I'm going to kill the defense platform now, and then let Tempest deal with the rest himself. It didn't actually matter which one of these things I hit, but that felt like a good option to me. I'm going to go ahead and give reduced damage dealt to Tempest by 1. Just all damage dealt to him. That's a pretty powerful effect. And then I'm going to deal my 2 damage to all targets. Now, I did 4 damage to Baron Blade because, remember, I have these gene-bound shackles. He has the most health, so I dealt bonus damage to him, plus 2 damage. River of Lava. Ooh, this is going to hurt. Yeah. So, at the end of the environment turn, they're giving me a choice here. Each hero may destroy one of their equipment cards. Deal any hero that does not destroy an equipment card 3 fire damage. So, Legacy doesn't have any equipment, so he is auto-skipped. Ra has his Staff of Ra. I don't really want to lose the Staff of Ra, so I'm okay with Ra taking damage. Tempest has his Gene-Bound Shackles. I don't care too much about the Gene-Bound Shackles, except they're helping me deal more damage. But he also has reduced damage is reduced to him. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to skip and let them all take this. Legacy's immune. Ra has a lot of health, and then Tempest reduced some of the damage. So now Baron Blade has played his own ongoing card, which is going to make it harder for us to deal damage to him. There's only one villain target, or one non-hero target, I should say, in play, so I don't really want to play this, which targets 3 things. I'll save that for when there are multiple things to hit. Instead, I will prepare for that eventuality by giving myself a Surge of Strength. So this is ongoing, increases damage dealt by Legacy by 1. So now this card will deal up to 3 targets, 4 melee damage each. Legacy himself won't be benefiting from this bonus because it's start of turn that the bonus goes away. That the buff goes away. Ooh, Bolster Allies is a good card. So I have to decide what I want Ra to do. So I'm also reading River of Lava to see how to get rid of it. At the start of the environment turn, if each player discards the top 3 cards of their deck, destroy this card. I don't really care about what's on top of my deck, so I'm a-okay doing that. I don't want to use Inferno, since again, there's only one target. I could use Flame Barrier, so that every time a target deals damage to me, the first time I am dealt damage by a target each turn, I punch back for fire damage. Or I could just deal 5 to Baron Blade, and that'll be increased by 2 and then decreased by 1, so 6 damage overall. It's a lot of damage. And it does pay to get him down as quickly as possible, because he is building up his Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam. It's up to 3 out of 15. But it pays to get cards like this out early, so that it does more damage over its lifetime. So I'm going to get Flame Barrier out, and then I'm just going to hit Baron Blade for the 3 from my innate power, and say okay. Tempest has a fun card. Localized Hurricane, and I'm probably playing this. It gives me a new power. It also increases damage dealt to me by 1, which effectively negates my otherworldly resilience. But as a power, I can deal up to 2 targets 3 projectile damage each, and that will get even higher using Legacy's ability and my Gene-Bound Shackles. Also, I may draw 2 cards. This is how Tempest just churns through his deck and gets to the really good cards that he wants. He just uses his Localized Hurricane to dig through as fast as possible. So you'll see 3 cards getting drawn here. 2 for the Hurricane and 1 for the end of turn. Or the draw card phase. And yes, we are okay, discarding 3 from each deck. River of Lava is destroyed. Volcanic Eruption. Ooh. That's a lot of damage. I saw the number 7. 7 damage. Oh, okay. So he's also hurting people. Here's something interesting. 3 damage to Legacy because of Nemesis. I will explain when I get back to my turn what that means. Oh, and then he becomes immune again. So not only did he deal the damage, he got to play an additional card. Okay. At the start of the environment turn, deal each target 7 fire damage. That's a lot. At the start of their turn, a player may skip the rest of their turn to destroy this card. That sounds interesting. When this card is destroyed, move 1 copy of the card Obsidian Field from the environment trash into play. There are no Obsidian Fields in the environment trash right now. But I think what I'm going to do is let Tempest take care of it. He has a card that just destroys environment cards, and that means I'm not skipping anybody's turn. Yes, so why did Baron Blade deal 3 damage to Legacy instead of 2? You'll notice if you look at his card, he's got this symbol here. Legacy has a matching symbol. That means they are each other's nemesis. When they deal damage to each other, they deal a bonus damage. You know, as it turns out, Legacy doesn't deal a lot of damage. Which means it's mostly Baron Blade just dealing damage to Legacy. I'm going to have everybody in the team draw a card. As the primary support, that seems like a good thing for Legacy to do, and then I'm going to up our damage again. Same deal, twice times. Ra is also not going to skip this turn. Ra is going to kill off this mobile defense platform as quickly as he can, which, as it turns out, is going to be this turn. Yep. Just a whole heap of damage. And the defense platform is dead. I will not skip the rest of my turn. I'm going to go ahead and Flash Flood to kill that Volcanic Eruption. And then I'm going to once again deal 5 damage to Baron Blade and draw 2. And then draw for my turn. We go back to environment turn. We have another Pterodactyl Thief. As we've seen, they're not too dangerous if you can deal damage to them. And Baron Blade gets his 3rd and final mobile defense platform into play. That's kind of unlucky for me that he just keeps drawing that. But at the same time, he's not really doing anything to threaten me, so it's not too worrying. And Ra can once again just take him out in one shot. Or take it out in one shot. Although, I think what I'm going to do this turn is use my Inferno so that I could also hit the Pterodactyl Thief. Because I want to make sure that's not hurting us. And then I'm just going to go ahead and skip the rest of the damage because it doesn't matter. And then I will hurt this. And that's my turn. So Tempest has a lot of stuff he can do. Some interesting choices, and I think a choice I'm going to make, Chain Lightning. So I get to go ahead and deal 4 damage to something, increased to 5. I'm going to deal that to the defense platform, then 3 damage to a second target. I'm going to deal that to Baron Blade. And then 2 damage to a third target, which goes at the Pterodactyl Thief. And then, once again, can use my Lookless Hurricane, deal as much as I can to Baron Blade. The goal being just to hit him down as fast as possible. He's at 6 out of 15. 2/5 of the way there. So now there's an Obsidian Field. It increases all damage by 1. including this attack, which is unfortunate. So now he'll deal... He would have dealt 4 to Legacy. Legacy does have armor now, which prevents 1 of that. And now Baron Blade has double living force field. That's starting to get annoying. Decreasing all of my damage dealt to him by 2 is rough for me. I think at this point, I'm going to lay this out. I'm not going to use it, but I want it out in case I draw a particular card in my deck, the Legacy Ring, which lets me use 2 powers every turn. At the start of their turn, 1 player may discard 2 cards to destroy this card. No, I kind of like the Obsidian Field. I like bonus damage. I have more people attacking than Baron Blade does. I figure I have a slight advantage by having this bonus damage. So right now, I am just cycling through my summon staffs because they get me bonus cards. If I wanted to, I could use my Flame Spike to hit Baron Blade and then gain an additional power for my turn, which means I could use my innate power and then kill my staff, which means next turn I could play a different staff and regen 3 health. That's an option I'm keeping in mind. I don't think it's what I'm actually going to do. So let's do some calculations. 5 is the base damage. Let's minus 2 from that, so 3. Then I get +1 from Staff of Ra, +1 from Legacy, +1 from Obsidian Field. That's a total of 6 damage. That's all I need. I can go ahead and use Fire Blast just to flip Baron Blade. So he flips. And all that sound you heard was, when flipped, his maximum HP becomes 30, and he's restored to 30. The villain trash is placed on top of the villain deck. All 3 copies of Mole Defense Platform are moved to the villain trash. That's why there's 3 cards in here now. And the villain deck is shuffled. So the sound was the shuffling. At the end of the villain turn, Baron Blade deals the hero target with the highest HP 3 energy damage. So now we've basically destroyed his Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam, and he's upset about it. He's throwing a tantrum. So now he's starting to attack us. He's got some sort of mech suit here. I will just continue the beats. What I really like is something that can destroy ongoing cards, which exist. Tempest definitely has some in his deck. So we'll see how that goes. Tempest, what do you want to do with your turn? He's got a couple of options. He could draw 3. It's boring, but if you want to churn through your deck. But I've already got a big card draw engine, so I'm okay with that. I could gain a new power. Each hero target regains 2 HP. This is one of the best heals in the game. So if you're looking for healing, that's the one to get. Tempest is a great character to have in your party when you're just starting out with this game. Shielding Winds. Whenever a hero target would be dealt 5 or more damage from a single source, reduce that damage by 2. I like that. I'm going to play that. I'm going to proactively defend us rather than trying to heal up the damage he's dealing to us. Again, these things are more effective the earlier you play them. The benefit you get from them adds up faster. Or more, not faster. Oh, it's at the end of their turn. So I could destroy it now, and then Baron Blade will not have access to that +1 damage. But again, I kind of like having it around. I think it's benefiting me more than it's benefiting him. That said, when we run into a river of lava, things tend to change. So at this time, I am going to go ahead and let Ra destroy his Staff of Ra, because I would like him to be able to heal 3 instead of taking 3. Legacy is immune. Let's apply the Shielding Winds first, which means it's reduced by 2, and then I reduce it further by 1, which means I only take 2 damage off of that. Pretty good move. Another Blade Battalion. Once again, shielding winds is going to be a great choice here. Because it's reducing that damage that we take. Beautiful. Legacy has not drawn his ring yet, but now there are multiple targets. I'm going to choose now to use this. Just get as much damage in there as possible. I do get my Nemesis bonus against Baron Blade here. Then I'm going to increase everybody else's damage. I really don't need another Danger Sense. Ra, as we discussed, we're going to play another Staff of Ra, so we heal 3, and we still retain our bonus damage. Let's just do our innate power right to his face. Sounds like a good plan to me. Alright. Normally what I would do with Tempest at this stage is use, not Cleansing Downpour, but Electrical Storm. Which, at the start of my turn, Tempest deals each non-hero target 1 lightning damage. The problem is, there's one non-hero target, and that's not changing very quickly. So I think I just want to maximize my damage against him, so I'm just going to Chain Lightning here. Deal 6, and then not deal anything more. And then I'm going to use another Localized Hurricane, and he's on Death's Door. And I'm continuing to just draw my deck, basically. You can see Tempest has 15 cards in hand. Again, I don't care what's on top of my deck, I'm just going to let everything get discarded. That could be where Legacy's Ring is. It's possible. Each hero may destroy one of their ongoing cards. Okay. I don't really care about... Actually, he's immune to environment damage. I don't care about him. I'm just going to keep that in play. I'm actually just going to keep his... you know what? We don't need this, right? And then Legacy's immune. Alright, cool. The reason... Yeah. The reason I kept the Flame Barrier in play is for what's about to happen. Okay. We managed to kill Baron Blade with a counterattack, which was pretty pathetic on his part, let's be honest. And that's the game of Sentinels. We reduced his second form to 0 HP, and so he lost. That is how you play Sentinels. Now that I've gone over that, it's time to be a little bit crazier with this game. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at my... Okay. Still got a viewer. Thanks. Thanks for sticking around, man. Hope you enjoy the stream so far. Feel free to say anything in the chat or not. It's up to you. And if you like what you see, I have a couple more Sentinel streams you can go check out. Video on demand. So, all that said, what I'm gonna do now is something a little different. I'm feeling Akash'Bhuta today. I'm gonna go a lot faster on this one. I'm not really gonna read through the cards that I'm playing as much. If you have any questions about what I'm doing or why, you can feel free to ask. I'm also going to vary up the heroes a bit, so I'm using a variance. This is my favorite hero in the game. This variant of Tachyon. Regular Tachyon's okay. This version of Tachyon also okay. This one's just insane. And if you don't have the foil collectors, this is what she'll normally look like. And you can actually get her with the physical copy as well. She is insane. If you see her, I highly recommend picking up a copy. Just crazy. Who else do I want? I've been having... Well, I love Chrono-Ranger. Chrono-Ranger is my damage dealer nowadays. And Omnitron X has been my support character recently. So now the question is, who else? Love Wraith. Wraith is also fantastic at just controlling the game. And I think we're going to go full 5, just so you see what a game of full 5 looks like. And I'm going to have Unity in here as well. I'm not going to do her variant, though. I am going to put her on shiny mode. There we go. As for the environment, I'm gonna... I've always been a fan of Silver Gulch. This is kind of just a for me match, so I'm gonna have fun with this one. So let's go ahead and fight. For those of you just joining us, we went through a brief tutorial stream. Actually, not as brief. We fought Baron Blade. We won, as you do with Baron Blade. And now we are having a much more complex battle against Akash'Bhuta. I haven't fought her in a while. Okay. That's all you're doing for your turn? That's an interesting turn, I guess. You do you, man. You do you. I could just destroy that right now, and that actually sounds like fun. Okay, well now it's gone. The thing it took her entire turn to do is now gone. Oh, see, that's the unfortunate part, is she has these things in her deck. So this version of Tachyon, her power is she gets to look at the bottom 2 cards of any deck, and if they share a keyword, she puts them into play. I don't know if it's still the case, but in the digital version, put them into play is not the same as playing the card. So that got around certain restrictions that some cards put on you, which was highly amusing. Again, Super Scientific Tachyon is the best hero in the game. I want Chrono-Ranger to get a lot of cards in hand, so I'm just gonna start everybody off discarding. This is an interesting choice. We have Danny Boy, which does damage to many targets based on the number of bounties you have, and we have the Masada, or Masada, I don't know how to pronounce it, which does 1 target, lots of damage for each bounty you have in play. So do I want to hit 1 target highly or many targets lowly is really the question we're facing. And I think I want to deal 1 target a lot of damage in this matchup. Wow, that hand is stacked. You don't have to discard anything, buddy. Actually, I don't really want you to discard a card either. Wraith, Mega Computer. We don't need a Mega Computer at all. Alright. And then he does 1. And then as an 8 power, he will do another 1. So you'll notice Akash'Bhuta has 197 health. There's a reason for that. And I'm surprised that wasn't one of the first cards she plays, because she has a lot of them in her deck. Oh, beautiful. Let's do Omnitron X. Oh, well, I'll have that in play. Why not? Seems like a good card. Let's do a construction pylon. I don't know if I care about Stealth Bot. So I think I'm going to save my pylon for when I have either a second bot or when I have a better bot that I can toss in. I don't have the cards that I'm... Oh, well, there's the card I'm looking for. There's another other card. Wow. That one not so much. But still. Now I have discard fodder. Okay. So that was actually a really good start. Oh, stout barrel. Alright, so here's the thing. Anytime an environment target enters play, I believe, Akash'Bhuta plays the top card of her deck. In this case, she gets to do a bunch more stuff. And things are getting crazy. And now everything I worked so hard for this turn is gone. Excellent. Okay. And so we have these living rock slides, which first of all are going to hurt. They're going to hit like a rock. No pun intended. So they're just going through, dealing 3 to everything. Yep. But here's where that super high life total comes into play. When this card is destroyed, Akash'Bhuta deals herself 10 energy damage. So basically, you're destroying one of her limbs. And that's dealing damage to her. And so that's really your strategy in this game, is to deal as much damage as possible to her limbs. Because then they in turn deal damage to her, and you take out 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to continue going through Tachyon's deck. Tachyon's whole thing is having more burst cards in her trash, so the faster you can go through your deck, the better. I'm going to continue trying to kill this living rock slide with a deal 1, draw 1, play 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and search for a bounty card. I'm going to get this draw 3, put it on this guy. Deal 1 to this guy. And then finally, as my power, deal 1 to this guy. So now that bounty card says when the target dies, I get to draw 3. Ooh. Okay, so we are getting set up to get all of my bounty cards into play, which is really good for me. And unfortunately, Omnitron X was kind of unmanned by Akash'Bhuta's last attack. Whoops. I meant to do myself, but Tachyon works too. I'm so used to pressing Tachyon when that menu appears. Yeah, okay. I like that card. I'm gonna keep this in play so I can draw 2 next turn, hopefully. Hopefully she doesn't just destroy me again. Luckily, I have my impromptu invention, which means I'm gonna go look for my utility belt. Now, I mentioned in the first fight, some cards let you use an additional power during your power phase, like this utility belt. And I'm also going to play this infrared eyepiece, so now I have just the best thing going on here. I'm going to infrared eyepiece to reveal the top 2 cards of the villain deck, put one of them on top and the other on bottom. It happens they're the same card, so this is how Wraith does her thing. She just rigs the enemy deck. Alright, Matthew Hayes, yep, Magnus Carapace. Okay, that all seems reasonable to me. So she's building up a lot of stuff, which is a pain. And we're going to see the effects of that just hurting my team a lot, basically. Yeah. So here's the reason her burst cards matter the most. Deals 1 target X melee damage, where X is the number of burst cards in your trash. I already have 7. Burst is a keyword, so any card with this keyword in my trash counts. I'm going to play another Nimble Strike. Right now, I am hoping to... That's a good card to get. I'm hoping to set up my my engines for playing more cards every turn. Because right now she's kind of in a weakened state. What am I gonna do with Chrono-Ranger? I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this bounty card, put it on this other living rock slide, and deal 1, and then deal 1. So once again, I get to draw 3. Perfect. That's what I needed. Displaced Armory. Okay, so I can go get my hat. And that means I'll start playing bonus cards. What does Omnitron X want to do? He wants to play a card. He wants to play the Innervation Ray. Which means, start of my turn, I get to heal 3 targets for 1. 3 hero targets. That's important sometimes. Now it's my play a card phase, and I'm going to get another start of turn action. It's a bit risky, because if he takes enough damage in one turn, he can lose all of his components. So he's got 3 in play right now. He could lose all 3 of those. Yes, we want to destroy one of... We want that draw too. Okay. So now we have this modular workbench, which means I get to discard a card. I'm going to discard Inspired Repairs to play out Champion Bot. And then I think next turn I will do that draw 2, so I can start just pumping out additional mechanical golems. So now we're going to eyepiece again. We're going to continue rigging her deck. We could do Entomb. Yeah, I prefer Entomb to the alternative, because it triggers at start of turn, which means she probably won't be able to play it. I'm going to start taking down the Mountainous Carapace, because I don't like that she's reducing the damage she deals to herself when her limbs are destroyed. I want to make sure that doesn't happen. That's unfortunate. That's also unfortunate. Okay, so we ran into trouble here. Yep. So as I mentioned, he could lose all of his stuff, and he did. Not only that, but we have a second Entomb, which means my Champion Bot's gonna die. This was a very bad round for me. And she has another Mountainous Carapace. Beautiful, beautiful. This is very, very poor for my cause. I'm going to put up a shield so that Tachyon doesn't immediately die. And unfortunately I had to discard both of those. Those would have both been great, especially the second one. Okay. We're going to go ahead and search for my hat. We're going to deal 1 to this Mountainous Carapace. And then we are going to put out a health regen card so that Chrono-Ranger doesn't immediately die. Okay, that's highest HP, so that's fine. We're going to continue killing this Mountainous Carapace. Unfortunately, now that there's double, that makes things much harder for me. We're going to just keep trying to kill this Mountainous Carapace. That is my goal right now. Is that energy damage? No. Is it? That's not the best armor I could have drawn there. I really wish Champion Bot were still here. But I am going to draw 2, looking for those bots. And then I'm going to deal 1 to each of her primeval limbs. And I'm going to get Stealth Bot out, discarding volatile parts. I need to protect my guys from damage. And I will put a combat stance out, so every time I'm attacked, I get to counterattack. And we're going to put out the Ensnaring Brambles. And we're going to kill this Mountainous Carapace. So she reduced that by 2, which is unfortunate, but now she's only got 1 point of damage reduction. Wow, that's... Yes, I do. Okay, I almost lost there. That would have been bad. This card, at the end of the environment turn, if there are no cards in the environment trash, the characters are lost in time. Game over. That almost happened. That would have been very bad for me. I'm gonna do myself a favor and kill that right now. Just not take any chances. I am continuing to whiff with Tachyon's ability. I'm not going to destroy that. I am going to regain 1 HP. That sounds like a good idea to me. We're going to put out some contracts. So we're going to put this on Akash'Bhuta, so increase all damage dealt to her by 1. Which should help with this whole not being able to hurt her thing. Then, I'm going to put this on her. Actually, let's put it on the... Let's put it on the flanges, because they're actually dealing damage. And let's continue killing this Carapace. I get to deal 3 targets 1 lightning damage each. So I'm going to choose each of her limbs. None of these are dealing a damage that this particular set of armor cares about, so I'm not going to worry about that. Instead, I'm just going to get out my Rocket Punch and start punching things. Specifically this Mountainous Carapace. I need it to be gone. I really need it to be gone. We're going to go ahead and draw another card, and then play another card. In this case, it's my Brainstorm again. And then I get to hurt these 3 targets. Perfect. And restore stealth bot to full. That's the important part. Then I'm going to discard scrap metal to get turret bot into play so that he can start dealing damage. Wraith. Wraith is going to suit yourself just to heal up. Again, that 1 turn really hurt us, but we are slowly recovering. So let's keep that momentum up. And let's kill this Mountainous Carapace. Perfect. Alright, she no longer has damage reduction. In fact, she has a damage increase. Yeah, I don't want Wraith to take that damage. And I get to use a power. I'm going to start hitting this. This thing's going to be bad. Yes, so Stealth Bot dies. It's unfortunate. But he has done his duty. So there is a danger in using Hypersonic Assault in this battle. The danger being, if this target cannot deal damage, she cannot deal herself damage either. It's a unique downside to fighting Akash'Bhuta. It's interesting. So instead, I'm just going to draw a bunch of cards. I'm going to discard this Research Grant, and Sonic Vortex could be very helpful. Much as this pains me, I'm going to get rid of the Hypersonic Assault. I'm going to use my power. I'm going to use the Sonic Vortex, hurting everything out there. I have easily enough burst cards to hit everything. Oh. Okay, that's unfortunate. Forgot that's what she does in this mode. We don't need that, and I'm gonna continue letting Chrono-Ranger heal himself. That's the most important thing right now. With that brief diversion out of the way, let's continue killing everything. Stop there. Now I get to play 2 cards. I'm going to play Fleet of Foot first because I want everybody to draw cards. And then it just lets you play an additional card. So it's basically free. I'm going to get out a Synaptic Interruption, and then I still have a card to play. Let's go ahead and do another Sonic Vortex. So I can start killing all of these primeval limbs. Okay, so that went well, actually. So the question is what I want to do. Unfortunately, all my bounty cards are now in my trash. That's not a good place for them, as it turns out. I'm gonna go fetch one of my last ones, the whole gang. I'm gonna put it on this guy. So now I'm doing something a little bit weird. I'm going to attack the higher health character, with the assumption being, and I want to go get my compound bow, definitely. Now I can kill this one and take the other one with it. So that's another case of 2 birds, 1 stone. Yep, we are slowly getting there. None of this equipment is just not very good. Let's go ahead and deal 2 to Akash'Bhuta herself, and then 1 to this. Perfect. We got there. We are almost halfway through Akash'Bhuta's health. We're fairly low on health, but that's what happens when she draws that 1 card twice before the start of her turn. I would like to get my mechanical golems back, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Stealth Bot and Champion Bot back, and then I get to draw a card. I did that in the wrong order. But this is also fine. I'm going to discard Flash Force to put Stealth Bot into play. And then I draw a Champion Bot, and next turn I can play a Champion Bot, and we are all good. Wraith. You can play another combat stance, since we got your last one destroyed. Let's do another primeval or arboreal phalanges, I guess. And continue dealing damage to Akash'Bhuta. That is fine, Lightning Trough. Alright. Yes, I do want to redirect. Perfect. I don't have any way to heal Stealth Bot, so hopefully that doesn't bite us. Increase all lightning damage by 1. That's pretty good. What are we up to? 13. We can go higher. So I'm just going to deal 1 to everything. And use my power again, and once again whiff. Wow. It doesn't normally go this poorly on that power. Sometimes. It's just not very common. I want to deal as much damage as possible, so I'm just gonna terrible tech strike this guy for 2 and then 1. And then I'm gonna do another terrible tech strike, again, 2 and then 1. And then I'm gonna use my compound bow. I'm gonna use the one projectile and then 1 lightning, because that's increased by 1 thanks to this water trough. I don't know if these phalanges are sitting directly in the water trough. I don't understand how it works. Once again, the water trough coming through for me. I get to deal bonus damage. And then I'll do it to the rest of them. I guess I'll play this plating card just in case, but I don't think that'll ever come up. I'm debating, or I was debating, if I want to actually put a card into play for Omnitron X, just so that he gets cards into play. Because right now, he's not at his full potential, not even a little bit. You know, I like this. I'm going to let Omnitron X deal damage, because this is going to be increased by 2. I assume on both hits. Yeah. So that was a pretty good ability right now. Let's go ahead and discard Robot Reclamation, and I want Champion Bot in play. Boom. Now I have too many bots. Too many bots. I got my impromptu invention. Let's go ahead and play out micro-targeting computer. Let's put that in play. And also heal. So now, not only can I use 2 powers, but my projectile damage is increased. You can have some ensnaring brambles. I am a-okay with that, Akash'Bhuta. You can do whatever you want. Let's continue just pounding away. We're currently winning. That's good. I don't think this guy's going to change that fact. He's going to be annoying, but he's not going to change that fact. Nah. So we'll redirect that damage to Akash'Bhuta herself. And the stealth bug gets destroyed, unfortunately. Which means that Tachyon cannot deal damage. That's unfortunate. Alright. I'm just going to play that because it's got burst in the title. I didn't actually expect it to do anything. What a turn to not be able to deal damage. But, assuming we can kill Ensnaring Brambles this turn, we have a lot of damage coming up next turn. A lot of damage. So let's start working on that. Again, I'm just going to continue destroying these things. Ongoing or environment. It's energy damage though, not lightning damage, so that doesn't matter too much. Let's do another misplaced armory. What do I even have? Whoops. I have nothing left in my deck. I probably should have checked. Let's go ahead and continue hitting this guy. Alright, it's got 1 hit left, or one health left. Now it has 0 health left. Perfect. And I kind of want to kill this just because I want to kill Cyrus Hayes. He's actually kind of painful right now. Yeah, that all is fine. So I'm going to deal 2 to this, and then 1 to Cyrus Hayes. And then kill Cyrus Hayes. Perfect. Let's see. Let's actually discard Cryobots to play Platform Bot. Cryobot's one... I think he's the worst of the bots. So I don't play him very highly. You have so many cards, Wraith. That's the other thing. In addition to getting to rig Akash'Bhuta's deck with Infrared Eyepiece, she just gets to draw an extra card every turn when she uses that power. That's not nothing. You don't need 3 copies of Throwing Knives. Silly Wraith. Oh. We all know how this game goes. Oh, I'm prepared to take a lot of damage next turn. Yep. There it is. I believe that kills Tachyon. Yep. Alright. Well, that's poor. This is very bad for me. It's Champion Bot. Yeah, that's basically a team wipe. That is a team wipe. I just lost. Alright. And that's what it's like when you lose the game. To be fair, that was a particularly rough series of events. That doesn't normally happen. But, you know, it doesn't not happen either, as we clearly just saw. Let's look at the time. I have time for one more just destroying ambuscade match. That's what I feel like doing. Who do I feel like destroying ambuscade as? I like the idea of Chrono-Ranger, Omnitron X, and Tachyon. Not original Tachyon, though. We're gonna go back to Silver Gulch. We're just gonna destroy ambuscade. You know, palette cleanse. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. That's just how the game works. Oh, wow. That's an annoying start. Oh well. Again, these things just kind of happen. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the good and the bad. But not the ugly. That's fine. I didn't want those cards anyway. I kind of wanted one of those cards. Oy. I need cards in my hand. Let's do this. You don't need a Sucker Punch. I don't actually like Bounty Board all that much. You don't need a Slip Through Time. That's not a great card. Let's do this. Let's keep poking out this explosives launcher. The goal being to kill it. Hopefully I can achieve that goal now. It's unfortunate. Okay, let's put that into play with the hope of... Hey! Alright, everything worked out. With the hope of not losing it this time. Last time I lost it the turn I played it. Not ideal. Not ideal. Yeah, you can kill both of those. I'm okay with you attacking those, Cyrus Hayes. I choose to allow it. Also, I have no choice. Oh, a Sonic Mine, those are the worst. Tachyon has the highest HP, I don't know. At this point, I don't think it matters too much. Do my quick insight. I don't need a Sucker Punch. Fleet of Foot's really nice. Okay, let's get a Sucker Punch and Sonic Vortex. Let's Fleet of Foot. Okay. Okay. Let's Hypersonic Assault. Kill the Sonic Mine. Boom. And it cannot deal damage. Which means it doesn't deal its thing in return, which would have done the exact thing that my card did. Except to my heroes. Doesn't matter what order these go into play, but I like that one. I like the shield. Let's play my hat. I really need a better bounty card than this. Let's go ahead and Terrible Tech Strike. Once on the reactive plating, and then once on Cyrus Hayes, because it's reducing damage dealt to the reactive plating. Which is actually really annoying. Gonna be honest. This is the first time I've seen him be actually effective with that. We're going to play a card. We're going to play this. Then we're going to use this to immediately deal damage to the reactive plating. Let's get out the Gaussian Coil Blaster. I am all in on this not taking enough damage to lose my stuff. Melee, Projectile, and Toxic. I feel like he does mostly Projectile, actually. So yeah, I do want that in play. Okay. Alright. Sheriff Pratt, that's fine. Good job, Sheriff Pratt. I like it. Run and gun. Yeah. Oh man, he's getting a lot of junk. Okay, he's just cycling through his deck now. You done? It's Chrono-Ranger this time. Okay. That he did a thing. That's all that can be said. Okay. Let's go ahead and Nimble Strike. I can't do anything to that, so let's just hit the automated turret. Hit what we can. Give nothing back. Play that, and let's go ahead and continue to use my power to just play out infinite cards. We have enough to kill the plating. We also have enough to kill the turret. So I'm going to. Good turn, Tachyon. Good turn. That's why she's insane. No binding cards in my trash still. That's not something I see changing anytime soon. So let's just Terrible Tech Strike, Ambuscade. Sheriff Pratt's actually kind of a friendly guy. So I like to keep him alive. I guess I'll play out the Masada. I don't have any binding cards in play, so it's not doing anything special. There we go. Perfect. Let's play a card. Let's play the Innervation Ray. Let's deal 2 to him. Let's deal 1 to him, and then none to Sheriff Pratt. And then let's heal everybody on the team. That was a good opening to his turn. And let's continue using your power. Yes, I want that in play. Beautiful, I love that. Free destroy as a power destroy an environment card, like, that's a strong power. The rest of it is just gravy. Oh look, the environment card that I really want to destroy. Good timing. He got his explosive launcher back. That's bad. Now let's redirect 3 to the explosive launcher. I mean, it's not the worst, it's just annoying. Let's go ahead and fleet of foot once again. And then we will deal 1 to everything. Unfortunately including Sheriff Pratt, and then we'll do the same thing, unfortunately including Sheriff Pratt. Ooh. I like the look of that. Okay. So I can finally go searching for a contract card. What I'm going to do is immediately get this, put it on here, and kill it to immediately draw 3. I need not just general cards, I need good cards, but I'm more likely to get good cards from 3. And now I have another play. Let's do this, because it just cycles. Deals 1 and cycles itself. Perfect! Play that next turn. This turn I want this. Alright. Oh, this is irreducible energy damage. That's actually really interesting. I've never noticed that before. The more you know. Irreducible makes a huge difference. Oh, we're totally going to play a card. We're going to play this, go searching for the copy of this, so that we can do another thing in our start of turn. It's the combo! And at this point, we have set up for victory, basically. Ambuscade is going to have a tough time crawling out of this one. You know, I'll just draw a card. I don't really need to play any of these, but I guess these just cycle themselves. Oh, sure. Alright, as I said, destroying this and hurting Ambuscade. Beautiful. That worked exactly as we wanted it to. Oh, Ambuscade, you're not dealing damage. I will not deal myself damage because I have a second copy of this card and I have enough plays to do it. I'm just going to deal 2 to everything. Or, I guess 1 to everything, 2 to Ambuscade. He's the one with the bounty on him. Okay. Like, at this point, I'm not even that worried about the gun. The gun can't do any damage until Ambuscade can deal damage, which won't be for at least another turn. But I'll wipe out everything else, why not? Okay. Gonna go ahead and let myself deal bonus damage to Ambuscade. Then... Then let's play this onto Ambuscade, and the reason is now I have 3 bounty cards in play. I'm just gonna start pounding on them. Jeez, I don't know. What do you want to do? Alright, we can play this Rocket Punch. It doesn't really matter, but I figure might as well, right? For you who just joined me, I'm in an Ambuscade super beatdown match. I just felt like destroying Ambuscade again. It's always fun to do. Let's just draw a card. Sure. Let's get my extra copy of this. Why not? Let's just destroy... Oh, it's gonna be 1 short. How unfortunate. He's got 1 HP. Oh well. I suspect he'll die. Look at that. He died. Yes. So this was my palate cleansing rounds, just to destroy Ambuscade, as you do with Ambuscade. If you've missed it, I regularly call him the easiest villain in the game, and I stick to that. That was my last round of the night. I will be signing off now. You can check out more Sentinel streams. I have some recorded videos on this channel, and I will be playing more Sentinels in the future, usually weekdays. Time varies, but I would say between 6 and 10 Pacific time, United States Pacific time, which is, I don't know, are we PST or are we PDT right now? Whichever one we are currently, and that's going to change on Sunday. Yeah, that's going to change on Sunday. Also, you can see in the schedule just below here that I play Evil Genius. I'm continuing that full playthrough tomorrow at noon 30, also Pacific time. And I play some other games occasionally. So yeah, if any of that interests you, feel free to tune in. Feel free to follow. I also have YouTube, which is just the videos from here. So you can just view the videos here or on YouTube. Either way, I have the same screen name in both places. Doesn't matter. And with that, I'm going to go to Studio Cam, which I should have done before I started explaining everything. Hi, I'm Matt. And now you get to see my face in, whoa, big screen. It's at this time that I'm winding down, and I like to give a little bit of buffer room to the at the end of the stream, because the video that is recorded, the VOD, tends to cut off the last 10 to 15 seconds. So I'll just be sitting here staring kind of awkwardly into space for 10 to 15 seconds before the stream ends. Feel free to say, wow, that's really awkward. Why is he just staring awkwardly into space? Yeah, feel free to follow. You'll get updates when I go online, I believe, if you're just following. Also, feel free to, if you're a YouTube person, subscribe, I guess. I'm not really doing YouTube for the YouTube. I'm just doing it for a little more exposure to this channel. Alright, 10 to 15 seconds. But that is actually more like 5 to 10, let's be honest. Yeah. Yep.